Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Lights Out League Racing, Season 26, Race 8, and we find ourselves at Interlagos, and it's a sunny Interlagos. Most of the time when I'm here, it's absolutely pissing down, but it's glorious sunshine, and will it be like that in the race? A little bit of a different format this week. One of our special races, the third out of the 4 this season, and we will be kicking off, and it'll probably chuck me in straight away into one-shot quali. That will be followed by a 25% race sprint in quotation marks, and that will be followed by a 50% feature race reverse grids based on the sprint results. So a lot going on, a lot of action promised, and we've got plenty of drivers on the grid as well. 16 in all for tonight, which is a great turnout for something a little bit different, and we'll see what little action we're going to get. And we'll be riding with Theo as he runs down to turn 1 and does a hot lap for us round the centre. Centre S is going downhill. You're going to hug that inside curb of turn 2 and turn 3 round Curva del Sol. A large round shaped left-hander. Open up the DRS down the Rita Aposta, heading down towards turn 4 and 5. Another downhill braking. And then you want to touch the curb. Don't want to go too wide or you will invalidate. A little bit of short straight as it climbs up to the back of the pit buildings, up to turn 6 and 7, around the Ferradura and Horseshoe, as we start getting a little bit downhill, the slowest part of the track of Little Orange, and then the left-hander of Pinarino, which cars will just be following each other around the line. Around turn 10, the right hairpin light corner, where a lot of cars do end up losing their traction, as we head downhill towards turn 12 of Junction, where you want to maximise your traction on the exit. With plenty of overtaking action will be seen here throughout the race as he opens up that DRS. It's all uphill as we go around turns 13, 14 and 15. Full throttle, stay as left side as possible and cross the line, and Theo goes P4. Great action from him, and his teammate takes pole. Theo is a new driver. Has jumped into the Haas car for the rest of the season, and a great start for him starting P4. So we will go through the grid order. Callum continues his fine form from last week, 107.5. Just behind him, Amadi, 107.6. Joining him on the front row, Portuguese P3, and Theo joining him on the front, the second row. Adam Maka, great qualifying for him, P5, joined by Yates, P6, Katz P7, Brid P8, Marty P9, Terry's round off the top 10, Catslot P11, Dan P12, Cygate 13, Catamese 14, and then invalidations from Metal Mike and Thelemy from the back of the grid. So, what kind of race is this going to turn out to be? It looks like a dry one, which is good. I'm sure a lot of drivers will be absolutely happy with that. And the drivers now will just be sorting out their strategies for this short race. It is only a one-stop. You don't want to be stopping any more than that. You lose 22 seconds plus the pit exit, one of the biggest and the longest loss of time on the calendar if you include the pit entry and exit. And yeah, you don't want to be going in there twice if you don't have to. Drivers will be sorting out their fuel. I'd probably predict they'll be doing potentially softs to mediums. It's what I would do anyway. It's a medium to high downforce track, so the setups are crucial. You're going to be on the throttle for about 68% of the time. And most drivers do start on softs as they work around for the formation lap. Marty, Dan Morris, Catamese and Thelemy all going on the alternate strategy. Now there's quite a lot of drivers that will be fighting for this podium this week. Callum, like I said, Callum last week was absolutely storming, had Amadi all over his rear end, switching places throughout the whole race at Qatar. And Callum was one that came out on crop. And another one to look out for is Cat's Lock in P11. Got himself on his first podium for Lights Out League Racing last week. P3, great showing for him. And he'll be looking to continue that fine form. A couple of, we've got one. We've got Caps filling in for us again, who's just decided to join the Red Bull team. So he is officially a Red Bull driver from tonight. And as I mentioned, new driver Theo with his first race with us. Let's see what he can do. Part of the second part of the Haas team. They're just working their way up now towards the grid slots. Callum's put a bit of a gap between Amity, doing a bit of tactic play now. Made a bit of a balls up last week and let Callum get away on that final lap and claim that P1. It went to the wire, there's only 1 or 2 tenths in it. And I think it'll be close again. Adam Akobi looking from P5, current championship leader. As all cars just jumping in their grid slots now. It's a tight turn 1 and 2, so I'm hoping everyone gets through all nice. As a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's lights out and away we go. And it looks like Ahmed D's got a good jump off the line. He's got the inside line of turn 1. Callum's defending well and he's slightly ahead as no. He's had to pull out. Ahmed D has got up to P1. And biggest loser Dan is down to P15. Lost to 2-3 places. As pretty much as you were. And oh, we caught it. Terry's and Cats just going side by side, and as I mentioned, it's quite tight. And those two unfortunately coming a cropper. But just keep your head down, it is double points with 2 races. As Thelemy and Cygate battling hard going through turn 9. And Thelemy is still just behind Cygate. It's all single file until you get to the straight after. Well, it's not the straight, but you know what I mean. Coming out turn 12, 1 or 2 drivers will have setups built for this part of this track. And so you got a yellow flag. It looks like Metal Mike in the RB has just lost traction on turn 12, like I mentioned in qualifying. Amity taking the initial fastest lap as Thelemy has managed to get past the Cygate's lost it in turn 1. I think it's probably a little bit of contact with Thelemy and Dan Catstock all trying to get past him, and he's now slightly behind his teammate as Dan going down to turn 4 on the outside. Brilliant overtake from Dan, utilising the DRS. And Thelemy just goes on the outside. Dan's got to keep an eye, just make sure that he doesn't knock him off track. Great driving, great awareness from both, and Dan retains P10. And these drivers on the medians, they want to try and get themselves up as much as possible. Marty, the leader of the medium runners so far, as he just gets jumped on turn 8 by Brady. Great overtake from Brady. Alpine drivers, been missing for a few weeks. Good to see him back on track. Had a really strong start to the season. Thelemy get the first win. But yeah, they've been busy over the festive period. Don't blame anyone. And look at those fastest laps ping like a Hawes phone. As Marty retakes P7. Catspot getting past Thelemy, ends up going wide. No, it's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Just lost control and ended up colliding with a couple of cars. There's nothing that could be done about that. That was unfortunate. Catspot down to P15. Doesn't seem to have, it's got end plate, lost end plate. And he's just behind Brady. Ooh, tried to have a look on the inside, but Brady defended that with might. Parked his car right on the inside of the apex and blocked that door. So we've got this 6-car train. Any one of these 6 can win it. Marty's dropped 2.5 seconds now, P7, and is the leader of this little mini train with Brady and Catanese behind him. Thelemy will probably close in. As you can see, it's just 1.2 seconds, bringing Dan Morris along with him. And we've got Terry's Cats, who's back up to P13. after being at the back. As Katami, oh, with Brady's lost it, he's turning around in just before turn 1. I suspect there's probably a little bit of contact with him and Katami's, maybe even Marty, and it's a VSC. And Caps Lock is the one that's jumping in, and he'll be happy to see this to get a wing change too, and he's going on hards. That'll work out well for Caps Lock now. Near enough halves your pit stop time. So we'll have gained in probably about 11, 12 seconds. Oh no, Marty. Oh, he said to me before this that he's not really a fan of Brazil, and he always has bad memories, and that won't help the cause. Oh, he was doing so well, leader of the mediums. As Terry's has lost it coming out of turn 8. No, not turn 8, sorry. Turn 10. That's again another place to loss of traction, or yeah, his tyres are hot. As Marty goes in and serves his drive through. It's really annoying. I got one at my races. Callum got himself up to P1. Going down to turn 4, and the feeling that these front few drivers will be toing and throwing, and Portuguese, there's something happened to him where he's lost a few places. Cat's getting himself up to P10, coming out turn 4. Great overtake from him and getting ahead of Cygate. As Brady now jumps into the pits and jumped onto the mediums. They should go to the end. Well, that's his pit stop done as well. Callum leading the way with Amadi. Theo up to P3. Gaining advantage from Portuguese. There's a incident or error. Who knows, but he's caught up back to the DRS train. He's up to P7. As Amadi now retakes, and it's a carbon copy of last week. Haas drivers going strong. Currently in the 2 podium positions, but Adamaco, Pitnick and Portuguese, if they've got anything to say about it, I don't know if it'll stay like that for long. Marty getting back ahead of Metal Mike up to P12, and it's just head down for Marty now. Perhaps like this race will come to him once everyone starts making their pit stops. He did of course lose a little bit of time on the spin, as Terry's is coming out on his pit stop with mediums. Again, the race will come back to him as well once everyone else starts doing their pit stops. It's just a head down. What he could do with doing is catching up to Brady and getting in that DRS. Anyone close? It's just a bit of a train at the moment. Anyone close enough to make the overtake? I think Amadi's got a bit of a break. Theo's tight on his teammate. Is he close enough to make a move? Taking a look on turn 1, and he's not quite. Single file for now. And Katami's has been dropped. It looked like he's going to catch up. And Terry's gets the honour of the first track limits warning. And Katami's is actually the cork in the bottle. He's going to be under threat now from Thelemy. He's going to get a good launch off turn 3. And looks on the inside turn 4, and great overtake. Makes use of that DRS. Almost loses traction on the curb on the exit turn 5. Katami's trying to take a look to retake the position, but not quite. And Dan looking with intent. He's going to want to try and get past Katami's. All 3 of these on the same strategy, so we'll probably see these 3 fighting until the end. What we have seen is Amadi break away just out of DRS. And Callum doesn't have it, and he's diving in. And Callum looking for the, followed by Adam, both looking for an undercut. And it was probably about the right time for Callum to jump in, as he just fell out of DRS, giving his teammate. Go on to the softs. Adam will go onto the softs as well. Oh no, mediums, both on medium, sorry. Cats is in. And he'll be jumping onto the mediums. As Katames retakes P5. Position away from Thelemy. Same position as last lap. And Dan just watching and waiting. Cats comes out in P13. Just ahead of Caps Lock. And Caps Lock will be happy to see him. His tyres will be up to temperature. He just needs to get into that DRS. And these three will be probably one of the last ones to pit with Marty. As Callum getting past Cygate. Coming out of turn 10. I don't think Cygate battled that too hard. Oh, he goes, whoa, Cygate's been too generous there, giving Adam room. He knows it's not his battle, but he's very, very generous. As all these soft runners now go into the pit. Theo, Portuguese, Armady and Yates all going in. We've got a yellow flag. Looked like a Mercedes. I think it was Adam coming out. No, it's Adam coming round now. Dan Morris. Weird. I think, yeah, Dan Morris just went off, I think, on turn. Round turn 1. He's dropped 2.5 seconds behind now. Cat's getting past Cygate. As Cygate's in the pit. Getting onto those medium tyres will come out. Just ahead of Briddy. Briddy might just get ahead. He does. But Cygate is on fresher tyres and will look to close in. So currently Thelemy is leading the way with Katames and Dan. Amadi net leader. And Callum didn't quite get the undercut. And these medium runners jumping in now. Dan's the only one who's going. He wants a bit of extra free air. He wants some fresher soft tyres. And Dan Morris leads the race. Ooh! Whoa! It's like it was icy again. And Katames and Thelemy looks like they're coming out P9, P10. Metal Mike jumping in as well for his pit stop. Cat's just coming up to the start finish line. And we've lost Katames. We've lost Katames. Was that coming out the pits? I think that might have been coming out the pits and the safety car is out. Now that's thrown a complete spanner in the works. Who's going to jump in and get some fresh softs? So I would have thought everybody would go in. But fresh mediums, they'll probably do you the same. Metal Mike's in. Terry's has gone in on some fresh mediums. Could probably gone on some fresh softs. Would have done him to the end. But he's chose to go mediums, so fresh tyres for him. This is going to be good for Dan Morris, maybe. This is definitely going to be good for Dan Morris. He's going to pit now, and he's not going to be in the lead, but he's going to be higher up the grid. Will anyone behind him jump in? This is going to absolutely... Amadi carries on, Callum carries on, Adam carries on. Adam's managed to jump Theo. Portuguese is gone, Fitness gone. Marty's decided to jump in, so this will do well for him as well. Got a bit of a gap between him and Katz, who's just coming up to the DRS. Marty's just coming round. There's a few cars just coming around the end, so Caps Lock's decided to stay on the hards. Marty's come out on these fresh softs, so Caps Lock will be under threat. They'll have Briddy. I think it's just coming out ahead of Cygate. I don't know what happened there with Katames. There's a big WTF in the chat. And this is, I don't think the safety car will be here too long. We'll just wait for Terry's and Metal Mike to catch up. It does mean this 25% sprint race has now become a 7-lap sprint race. Amadi lead the way. Callum behind him. Adam Akron up to P3. Championship holder showing his might. He's got Theo behind him. Back where he was, where he started. Still going strong for the Haas team. Portuguese P5. Interesting to hear what happened to him. Getting their picnic going strong in P6. Salami up to P7 on those fresh softs. Him and Dan Morris is now up to P8. We'll be looking racy on the restart. Be interesting to see what them pair can get up to. Cat's P9. Cat's lock on those 8-lap-old hards. It's going to be tricky for him to keep the cars behind him. Brady on the 7-lap mediums. He's going to be under threat from Marty behind on those fresh softs. Spygate 13, Metal Mike 14 and Terry's P15. The McLaren boys, and they work together to work their way up the grid. We're just coming out around lap 12, and the safety car will be in this lap. It's quite a tricky track. We've seen one or two cars lose traction. It's quite a bumpy track, and it makes braking quite tricky, especially on some of those downhill braking zones. This middle section, I actually love this middle section. It's like a roller coaster. As you, when they designed the track, they just built it around the actual layout of the ground. A lot of tracks they just dig it all out and make it completely flat, but it's an old school track, and it has its old school charms. And speaking of charms, let's make an unrelated segue. The safety car is in. Amadi will be holding this pack up as much as possible as the safety car goes in. You can't overtake it until you get to the timer line, so he'll be waiting right to the latest possible. And he's gone. Amadi is gone. Callum stayed with him. Portuguese is right and side by side with Theo. He's looking on the outside of turn one. Theo's defending well, but Portuguese takes later. It's a bit of a concertina. And oh, there's 4 cars that have just completely, I think they're just all locked wheels. They got stuck in each other. And we lost Thelemy, Portuguese, and Theo, and Yates at the back as well. It's very unfortunate. And that does mean that Amadi and Callum have broken away them pair, so that it's a sprint between them, and Amadi will want this sprint win. Like I said, after last week, Dan Morris has now been promoted up to P3, managed to avoid all the congestion. I think Adam got slightly caught up in it, but has managed to keep on going. Is down to P4. Terry gets past Theo. Cyril says Theo gets down. He doesn't get damaged, but he's probably got a few flat spots on his tyres. And Sygate's got himself up to P9. Took advantage of the instant in turn one. Bellamy on those softs working his way up, and Yates has managed to get past Portuguese. As Portuguese got damage, as DRS is now enabled. Doesn't look like it. I just think everyone concertinaed, and then everyone stopped as Portuguese taking a look. But Yates defended well. Marty getting himself up to P6 ahead of Catslock. Callum up to P1, same position as last time. And turn 4 seems like one of the places with the aid of DRS. Brilliant. Catslock side by side. Catslock just getting forced a bit wide. Theo having a look on the outside of turn 6. Catslock trying to defend. Sees he's there. There's going to be a switchback from Theo. I think Bellamy just hitting the back of Theo. I didn't think he expected him to be that slow there, but it is the slowest part of the track. Portuguese up to P13 now, getting past both Picnic and Terry's, and we'll now be looking at Metal Mike. Mercedes now looking good for points. Dan pulling along his teammate, and Katz, who's now up to P5. He's also taken advantage up 4 places. And I think he'll be quite happy with this. Theo lost out couple of places to Bellamy. Portuguese getting past Metal Mike. And Caps Lock getting past Cygate. Cygate will look to retake the position. The cars ahead do have DRS. Yates on the outside of turn 4 on Metal Mike and makes it stick. Great overtake there from Picnic. Marty with the penalties, he needs to make use of those soft tyres and try and get an advantage from the Alpines behind him, but they are strong. As Bellamy gets past Briddy. I think a bit of team play there on those soft tyres. And try and get Briddy to be a bit of a buffer for the cars behind. But Theo's on fresher tyres. Can he get past the first Alpine? As Amadi retakes P1 down to turn 1. Mercedes drivers as they were. And we've got 3 wide. Cygate on the outside turn 1, and they've all collided again. It's a tight corner. And I think Portuguese was squeezed in the middle. There's nothing he could do. And his tyres are absolutely screaming. He's absolutely screaming. It happens sometimes, and especially when you're going 3 wide. It's just, yeah. I'm sure we'll see one or two in the instance in the chat as Theo lets Briddy back past. I think there might have been a bit of illegal overtake, so great sportsmanship there from Theo. Remember, we'll try and get past Briddy again and get himself up to P8. Dan Morris still going strong in P3. Katz is right on the gearbox of Adamako, and we'll look to try and make the overtake. He's going to go 3 wide. Dan is still ahead, and I think Katz left, didn't force it too much. Bellamy ahead of Marty now up to P6. Theo managed to get him past Briddy as well as they're coming around the curve to Seoul. And DRS as well for both. So he's made that stick. We've got another yellow flag, and it's the Mercedes of Terry's again. It's very unfortunate. Get back up to Adam and Katz as Katz trying to make the overtake going around turn 5. Katz looking stronger at the moment between him and the championship holder. But Adam defending well and showing why he is the championship holder. We're just coming round to start the final lap. Will Amadi stay behind? He's looking for the overtake. And Callum slots behind, so Amadi currently leads the lap on the final lap. Will Adamako make the overtake on Dan Morris? Dan Morris will try and defend for all his might. It is a team play. Oh! Yates just a little bit more awareness there for Picnic. As he should have expected Adam to turn in. As Adam does make the overtake. Great overtake from Adamako there. Burst of speed down to turn 4. And same from Theo. Get himself up to P6. As they're going all single file, these 5. Callum hasn't managed to get past Amadi down to turn 4. Down the Rita Aposta. So it's now or never for Callum on this final DRS, and it's going to go down to the wire, I think. It depends who's got more ERS left in the tank. As we're coming round turn 13. I think Amadi might have it, but DRS will be open. As they cross the line, and Amadi will take the sprint win. Callum comes P2. Adamako currently has P3. Dan Morris P4. Katz P5. Theo P6. Bellamy P7. Briddy P8. Hitler P9. Marty with his penalty down to P10. Katz Lock P11. Metal Mike P12. Terry's 13. Cygate will come probably P13. Jump Terry's yet, and Portuguese holding up the rear. So, well, not all lost here for Portuguese. A bit of a frustrating end to this sprint for him. But it does mean that he will lead the pack for the start of the feature race. And driver of the day goes to Thelemy for the sprint by the game. We do, of course, do our own drivers of the day in our Discord. So, nice flip. Don't injure yourself. As Amadi takes P1 and the top step. And we'll just go through the order. So, Amadi getting his own back from last week, taking P1 and getting the fastest lap as well. Callum having settled for P2. Adamako getting himself onto the podium for the sprint. P3, great showing from him. At the expense of his teammate Dan Morris, P4. Up from P12, great showing from him. Katz P5, Theo P6, good start for him for his league debut. Thelemy up to P7 from back of the grid. He'll be happy with that. Briddy P8. Alpine's getting some decent points. Picnic P9 and Marty rounding off the top 10. Could have been higher if it wasn't for his penalty. Catstock P11. Metal Mike P12. Up 3 places. Good points for him and the Visa RBs. Sygate P13. McLaren's didn't have a good day today, but let's see what they can do in the feature race. And as I said, Portuguese P15 and Katamise will be at the back because he DNF'd. So we will be jumping in the lobby, and as I sort out the feature race, I will put you on radio silent because no one wants to hear me breathe like an absolute pedo. So see you in 2 minutes. Hello and welcome back to Lights Out League Racing. I haven't been gone long. I do have to put a big apology out. I don't know where Marty's going to be starting. I've just chucked him somewhere. He jumped out the lobby. It's a punishment for jumping out the lobby. So I don't know where he's going to be starting. He could be last. He could be somewhere in the middle. I did some last minute configurations, but he's there somewhere. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I need to be punished. I'm sorry. But drives now. We are on the feature race. 50% race. And it looks sunny again. How lovely is that? It can be quite a temperamental place of weather, Brazil. Of its location, which I mentioned earlier on. Around the hills. It tends to be quite rainy sometimes. But it's looking lush. And it's going to tell me where we're going to be in regards to Marty. I'm sorry. And he's back. I'm sorry, Marty. You're going to have to absolutely... you have to... I deserve punishment. I'm sorry. So it's a soft to mediums or mediums to hards again. And it's a bit of a mix on this one. So some are doing a bit more of a race strategy. So Portuguese leads the way, and he's going to be in prime position. McLaren boys, sprint didn't go too well, but we'll be near the front, so they're going to be under threat. As I'm saying with Metal Mike. So alternate strategy: Sidegate, Yates, Picnic, Briddy, Bartholomew, Katz, Dan Morris, and Armady. Which is interesting from Armady, going alternate to Callum, and Adam Mako. We'll see how this plays out. I absolutely love Brazil. It's one of my favourite tracks. I'm sorry, Mark. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I can only apologise. I know. I'm really, really sorry. I was under pressure. I had everyone watching. I have faith that you'll work your way up, though. You'll get dragged along by the guys you're around. So 4.3 kilometre track, 15 corners, turn to the left, 5 to the right, 2 DRS zones on this anti-clockwise circuit. Sorry, there's quite a few of them now on the calendar. There used to be a predominantly clockwise, but a lot of the new tracks. And what's Portuguese doing now? I think he fell asleep. He wants to damage wing before we even get underway. Yeah, but no, a lot of the new tracks now, they kind of balance it out, so drivers next, they aren't all bending one way. A lot of the older drivers, they're all leaning when they retire because all the circuits are the same way around. Now they all can stand straight and walk with honour. And of course, I'm lying. So it's that Katamise just strolling into his pit box. Come on, Katamise, you melt. We're all waiting for you. You're like a cat with one leg. And they're all in. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's lights out, and away we go. I'm messing on you. I'm too excited. As Portuguese has got underway. Oh, nice and easy. It looks like a bit of tyres screeching behind, but I think, hopefully, everyone's got away safe and sound. And it's quite tricky when you've got a reverse grid, because especially the drivers behind that are a lot quicker. They've got to bide their time. Katamise is probably the biggest loser out the first few corners. He leaves plenty of space for Katamise, and he's down 3 places. Callum's lost a couple, and it's about making sure that you do not make any errors at the start of the race, as Marty and just clashing wheels with Callum. And these places will be jostling. Katami's up 4 positions, so the biggest winner so far on this first lap. Cars side by side, you can see the carbon fibre flicking off, but you don't know if that's off the curbs. A lot of drivers will have floors quite low to the ground. And Briddy's one of the biggest losers now. Lost quite a few places down to P12, and you can get swallowed up if you take a corner too wide. As will go back onto the tyres now. It's enough of that. So we'll have to try and keep up with these as Katz and Callum side by side through turn 1. Plenty of space again, but Katz keeps the position of P14. And it's as you were for now. DRS will be enabled. So we'll see a lot more overtakes as Bellamy side by side with Metal Mike. Metal Mike defending well around turn 4, but goes quite wide and ends up losing quite a few places. And especially when everyone's quite close. It's very respectful driving from Metal Mike there, but again, like Cygate in the previous race, was very... Oh, whoa. I think those Catamies there going a bit wide and just got flicked back on track, almost causing a collision, nearly taking Metal Mike with him. That was fortunate, and the Catamies, I don't know what his tyre wear's like, but he's... I'm a D, the winner from the sprint, has lost it on turn 10. Whether it's his fault or another's, time will tell, but he's now at the back of the grid, which for anyone else would mean they'd have to put their foot down, but he's got a lot of pace, so I don't worry about him too much now. Cygate loses a couple of places, Catstock up to P3, and he'll be looking to get himself high up the grid as Yates makes an early overtake out of turn 3, the Curvasol. And he's now up onto the podium places. Cygate getting slightly swallowed up, taking the inside line on turn 4, which is putting him under threat from Catstock, who goes ahead. Bellamy taking the inside line, and Cygate again being very respectful. And ends up losing a few places. I think sometimes with Cygate, he needs to be a bit more defensive, and we can help him with that, of course. The more league racing you do, the more, as Metal Mike's causing a bit of a bottleneck at the moment. As Brady's up on the inside after turn 10. As Metal Mike goes a little bit wide, loses traction on the curb, and almost takes out Katz and Callum as well. Katz has managed to get past. Callum hasn't quite managed to work his way up the grid too easily yet, and it just shows the quality and the pace of this grid. He's right on the gearbox of Metal Mike, and I think Metal Mike could be under threat now going to turn 1. But Brady's right ahead of Callum, so he'll have to put his brakes on so he doesn't shunt the back of him. But he's managed to get past Metal Mike and up to P13. And current championship leaders in the constructors, yeah, Aston Martin boys, currently holding up the grid, both plumb last. Portuguese pulling away. This Clean Air has a bit of advantage to him, 2.3 seconds ahead. He just has to focus on his own race as Callum getting past Brady trying to defend round turn 9, but Callum's made that one stick. And I think Callum's now got his groove. As I mentioned early in the first 1 or 2 laps, you've got to be cautious. You don't want to have any major errors. That'll put you on the back foot. Yates now looking with the aid of DRS to try and get past Terry's. Heading down to turn 1, Terry's looks like he's got a big enough gap. Will Picnic be one of the last breakers as Theo does a late move on Adamako. Great move up to P6. You don't see many overtakes there on Adamako. And brilliant from the Haas driver. And Adam will be not having any of that. Callum gets past Katz now down to turn 4. Amadi getting past Metal Mike and Marty. As Metal Mike goes wide, and I think he's letting Marty past as well. Knows that it's not his battle. So Aston Martin's moving up in situ. 3 seconds advantage, Portuguese now. And we've got a train from Terry's, who's managed to stick this P2 for now. 5 laps in out of 36. As Theo and Bellamy, it looks like Bellamy's probably gone off a bit or made a bit of contact. Theo up to P5. As Bellamy's ghosting a little. I think Picnic's a little bit closer now and will be strong with these medium tyres. Capstock having a look on the outside, having a look on both sides, which might not be able to get past as Yates makes the move on Terry's. Capstock trying to follow through, and he does. Terry's makes a little bit of a move to avoid collision and ends up losing the place to Capstock, and it's a great overtake as Adamako on the outside of turn 3. Thelemy trying to defend it on the inside of turn 4. Breaks later than Adam. Forces a little bit wide. I think Adam won't be too happy about that and has to settle. And who's that that's gone off? It's a yellow flag. I think that was Metal Mike coming out of turn 4. Hackney's, I thought it was him doing well in P12 as Theo gets past Terry's. A little bit, could have been locked wheels then, easily done. But Theo now up to P4 and working his way through, showing some really good pace. He's got himself settled. Telling me Terry's now getting slightly swallowed, and what happens when you defend and you go offline, it puts you offline for your next corner, under threat from the next driver that's trying to overtake you. And that's unfortunately what's happening to Terry's. As Thelemy brakes late into turn 1, less space by Terry's. Ooh, slide, lose a little bit, lost of traction. And Adam, it looks like, forces his way through around the curve of the Soul. Terry's not giving it up though, side by sides, but Adam ends up slotting just ahead, up to P6. Great battling there from Terry's though. Good challenging mentality, never give up. It has a bit of a gap now between, if he can stick in the DRS with these, he can try and maintain that gap with Dan behind him. Amadi getting past Katamise. Katamise is getting swallowed up. I think he's got a bit of damage. Bit of contact. He's still got a good wing, so I don't know what's going on there. It's probably just a wrong setup for him. But he's lost a couple of places from Brady and the Aston Martin boys. As Callum getting past Sygate out of turn 10. If you've got a good setup, it's a good traction area. Is he close enough to get the DRS, or will he pull Sygate and Katz with him? Katz might be looking to make an overtake as Theo's getting close to Capslock. Capslock defending the inside of turn 1. Theo on the outside, just side by side. Theo forcing him a little wide, but making the move. Stick hard but fair. And something's happened to Marty's first one to pit. And get off those soft tyres, get out of the, get himself into some clean air. And he's doing a 2-stop. So he's going another set of softs. So is it a 2-stopper? Quite interesting if it is, because it's quite a long pit stop. So one or two might be hoping for a safety car maybe. As Capslock defending hard from Thelemy, trying to work his way through. Forcing himself through on turn 10. Amazed that was sticking. I think that was Metal Mike, it was. Just losing it going round turn 6 and 7. Let's keep going, lads. Points means prizes. Portuguese 3.2 seconds, so hasn't really made much more advantage on Pitnick as he's got up to P2. As Callum now getting the latest victim of Terry's. Dan Morris has also got through as well, so yeah, I missed Dan Morris's overtake. So yeah, Terry's is just working his way, defending well from Katz. Katz has the inside line coming out turn 5. I think he'll have better traction too. They're side by side coming up to turn 6. Terry's went two inside. He missed the apex from the wrong side. He went lawn mowing. The grass does look like it needs cutting. Fire the groundsman. And I think Terry's is just getting himself a bit out of shakes at the moment. Just missing his line. P10 and P11 for the McLaren boys. They can work together, they can work themselves up the grid. But if they don't look in their mirrors, because that's where Amadi is. As Katzlock has lost a couple of positions down to P6 from the DRS. We'll look to capitalise it on this second DRS zone. Portuguese. Actually, the gap is closing. Are those tyres wearing now on the soft runners? As we've got another yellow flag, and I think it's Catanese again. Just hasn't switched on today. not found his rhythm. His tyres are looking a bit hot, so he just needs to make sure that he just trickles around the next couple of corners. As you can see, Marty in his mirrors, of course, has already made a pit stop and doing a 2-stop. Sounds like a dance, doesn't it? I'm just going to go and do a 2-stop while I'm listening to ABBA. Dancing Queen, feel the beat on the tambourine. Oh no, I'm not doing that. Theo and Dalamy for company with Yates, so these three all vying for these 2 other podium positions for now. You don't want a stupid penalty, keep it within the white lines, lads, says Sygate, getting past his teammate with a DRS. Armady saying hello as well. Hello! We've got another yellow flag, and I think that's Katamise again. He's just not having it today, is he? That cat's got roller skates on. He's going in the pits. Don't speed. Oh, he's getting Italian hand, he doesn't. So yeah, he's getting off those softs. They must be screaming at him. Does that mean Katamise is gonna? He's probably gonna do a hard, soft to hard. He normally does that and goes to the end. He's going medium, so maybe mediums to the end. What's this? 25 laps? Nah. He's gonna have to come in again, otherwise he's going to be under threat. So these 4 in situ. Adamako up to P5 now. He has got Caps Lock and Dan Morris in his rear view. Caps Lock is going to try and make the overtake on the outside turn 1. Dan Morris will try and follow through, but does not want to impact his teammates' race either. Caps Lock has made the move. Dan Morris has made the move as well, and I think Adam hasn't fought that too hard. He knows that they'll be switching places as the race unfolds. As Dalamy's managed to get himself up to P3, and Dan Morris as well, using DRS down turn 4. And Dan Morris now up to P5. Marty past Metal Mike as Terry's and Metal Mike both in the pits. Terry's has gone onto the hards, going to the end. Metal Mike, is he doing the same? He's on the mediums and getting a fresh wing as well. We want to see that birdie fly. So, Picnic and Bellamy currently in the podium places. Theo the one to try and capitalise on this DRS as they come round to end lap 12. Will Bellamy make the over turn 1? They will, and Yates won't defend too hard. Theo is staying on behind, but he knows that he might have a bit of action down the Rita Aposta. Picnic will try and retake the position. As you can see, he's got the DRS open, and that should be a very easy overtake. Thelmy trying to do the switch back, and it's good to see Thelmy on a bit of form today. I hope it continues for the rest of the race. He had a really good start to the season, but had a couple of races where he's had to DNF. And it'd be good to see him get some points for those Alpine brothers. French boys in the French team. It's like it's written in the stars. Dan Morris still P5, and he's actually broken DRS from Caps Lock. So Dan Morris settled now in the race and doing well. As Metal Mike and Katamise side by side. Metal Mike getting past Katamise up to P15. But we'll have DRS going down to turn 4. Metal Mike defending. Katamise will break later as he always does, and great awareness there from Metal Mike. A great overtake as we've seen the early pit stop drivers on the soft tyres. Caps Lock, Adam and Callum all in. Ahmed D coming in as well. Getting off those mediums, so is he going to do maybe medium for hards? Interesting. Interesting, he is. So, one stop there. Is the soft to mediums a one stop as well? Caps Lock going on to the hards too. 22 laps for these. As Marty jumps in. And will he go into mediums? He's going to hards as well, so Did the extra pit stop. Yeah, probably he did the wrong strategy at the start. But we'll go to the end as well. So we'll probably see Portuguese dive in now. As he probably known the other softs runners are going in. He's carrying on, so his tyre wear must be good. But Yates is going in. Trying to potentially do a bit of an undercut to Bellamy, who's carried on. Theo's gone in and is doing the same strategy as his teammate. Dan Morris has continued through on his medium, so they'll probably go for another, I'd probably say for at least another couple of laps. Katami's getting himself a penalty as well to add to his woes. Katz has continued through, Sygate continued through. Yates on the hard tyres, Theo's gone on the medium, so it's interesting strategy calls from some. And which tyres they're going out on, so we're having a mixture of mediums and hards. Obviously the soft runners have an option to choose which tyre they want to. If you were starting on the mediums, then you'd definitely be doing the hards. There's Callum making a move on Adamako. Up to P9. Well, it'll be interesting to see where Bellamy and Dan come out. As Metal Mike, him and Katami's. What happens? Katami's there. What's he doing? Did he forget to turn? He did. Thankfully he didn't crash into the wall. Otherwise I'll get my sussy finger out. I think he must be on drugs today. He must have taken too many meds. He's had too much catnip. Meow, meow. Oh, best not do that. My dog will go nuts. Portuguese still going strong on lap 16 on these softs. As Callum sets the current fastest lap on a 1:09.2. I don't think that will be in his grasp for much longer though. And Thellamy's actually closed in, so he must have better tyre wear than Portuguese. So the race win is not yet done and dusted. I'd probably say Thellamy is in for a shout. And the drivers that were around him as well, Picnic and Theo, will potentially be in for a shout as well as Callum gets past Brady. Going round turn 6. So Callum on a charge, Adamako following through as well. And Brady's on a different strategy here on older tyres, so probably didn't hold them up too much. As Portuguese Beast has actually just smashed his own chances of a podium and the race win by speeding in the pit lane. He's got too excited, his Duracell batteries have just been plugged in and he's got himself a 10-second penalty. Italian hand gesture for Portuguese Beast. He'll be absolutely livid and he'll be hoping for some sort of safety car so he can go in and serve that. We've got a yellow flag and I think it's Katami's again. It's just not having any of it, is he? Come on, Katami's. You're not Kylie Minogue. I'm spinning around. Move out of my way. No. No. Keep going. So, yeah, so race win is potentially... I don't know. I just really don't know. Theo's in for a shout. Picnic's in for a shout. Bartholomew's in for a shout, which he's probably going to pit anytime soon. He's carrying on going. So I think he's going to do half and half. Unless he's going to look at doing mediums to softs, which is nuts. Absolutely nuts. But we'll see. We'll absolutely see. Callum getting past Sygate as Katz is now in the pits. And we'll be moving on to those hards. So the first one out of those front three. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. So current net leader of the race is Theo. Katz just coming out now. Armady coming around turn 1. So I think Katz will come behind Armady. And ahead of Terry's. But we'll be on fresher tyres. Another yellow flag. Who's this one? I think it's Katami's again. I'd say keep going so you get some points for the Williams team. He's just he's not having any fun today. He's mowing the lawn. Is he asleep? Has he passed it? Has he passed it on to a cat, an actual cat to drive? At least he's letting the other guys, he's not impeding the other drivers, which is good. Thank you, Catamies. We do appreciate that. So Thelemy, 6.5 seconds on Dan Morris for now. Dan Morris should be happy with his current position. Are they doing mediums to softs? Are they holding out for a safety car? Of course, I don't think they'll be able to go into softs anyway. Theo now pulling Portuguese along. Portuguese has got that 10-second penalty, of course. And speaking of penalties, good eye, Sygate have got a 3-second penalty. And a go-go karting. Picnic P5 on those hards, so they probably work out kind of potentially equal or better for the hard runners. I think that's Catamies again. I won't be surprised if he does go in and retire. He can't make it round without... He might as well paint the fence while he's there. He's that close. As Brady gets himself a penalty as well. Sygate and Catslock side by side coming out of turn 10. Catslock better traction on the inside line of turn 11 and great overtake from Catslock. Gets himself up to P8. On those fresher tyres, Sygate another yet to pit and get off these mediums. So you'll probably see him jump in soon. Brady's had a bit of, again, on those old tyres. So I wouldn't be surprised if he jumps in too. But Cat's getting past on those fresher tyres up to P11. Brady trying to make the overtake on the outside of turn 1. Well defended in the middle of the track from Cats. And Brady will try and retake that going down the Rita Aposta with DRS. Is he close enough to make the move? He's not quite yet. Great defence there from the Red Bull driver. Portuguese right on the gearbox to Theo. And it's really hard to overtake in this middle sector. And they'll just wait for the DRS zone. I don't think Theo will battle it too hard. You can see that Portuguese will have that penalty. And will just try and stick in his DRS. But Portuguese showed in that first stint that if he breaks out their DRS, he can pull away quickly. Should be an easy enough overtake for Portuguese in the inside of turn 1. And as said, Theo doesn't battle too hard for that. Amadi making the overtake on the start of the DRS zone on Sygate. And Sygate does jump in the pits now to get off those old mediums, which means Cats will follow through too. Theo retakes the position on Portuguese up to P3 again. And he's not giving it up. Never going to give it up. Never going to let you down. Catamies is still struggling on those fresh softs. So he must have an absolute mare of a setup. Sygate and Brady both got in and on those fresh softs too. So it is a mediums to softs that these guys that haven't pit are going for. So that's an interesting Saturday and it will make them really racy. Short perm. I haven't got a perm. It's messy. It's just messy. And Thelemy jumps in now. And doesn't get that 10 seconds to... Will Dan Morris follow? He doesn't. He carries on for an extra lap. Short-term pain, long-term gain. As Portuguese gets himself back ahead of Theo. Picnic goes through and is closing on these two while they're battling. So all the while, Callum's closed up as well. He's managed to get himself in a really decent position. Kind of crept his way up. And Stanley comes out just ahead of Capslock into P7 on those fresh softs. So he's going to be racy. Yeah, kept himself kind of quiet. As Dan Morris has lost a bit of time on those old tyres. Theo trying to force his way through. And clips Dan Morris. A little bit of slide going around turn 9. A little bit of struggle of traction from Dan. It showed the difference in tyre wear. And Dan losing a couple of tenths, but not too much. I wouldn't be surprised if he does jump in the pits now. Although he'll be overtaken by Picnic and Callum anyway. So it's probably worthwhile jumping in. He does. Don't speed. And we'll probably see him jump on those softs as Adam, his teammate, comes through with Thelemy just behind. He's not quite close enough to make the overtake yet. Dan does jump on those soft tyres. Comes out, will come out ahead of Terry's in P10 again. The run is ahead, he'll see they're on soft tyres and we'll just floor it. Petal to them, petal. On a beautiful flower. Pedal to the metal, foot down, let's fucking go. That's what he'll be saying if I was his race engineer. So as we are coming to the end of the third part of this feature race, Portuguese is ahead and he has broken DRS from Theo, probably with that little bit of contact with Dan Morris, but he does have that 10-second penalty, so he needs to break Theo by 10 seconds. Theo has a good 3.3 seconds advantage as Thelemy makes the overtake on Adam up to P5 down to turn 1. Can Adam retake that? Will he get better traction off the curve? De Sol open up that DRS as Katamies lets them past. Katamies is just having a really bad day today. Does have a podium to his name this season, so it's not like he's a slow driver by any means. As Kat's taking position on Armadi up to P8. Armadi defending, trying to do the switchback. As that's Katamies again. Side by side around turn 6. Brilliant driving from those pairs. Katamies just forces Armadi slightly wide. It's kind of hard to stick it when you're full throttle around those two corners. You've got to really turn in. And Armadi has to settle for P9 for now. I do have an understanding. I think Armadi potentially has not put his setup on, so it's not why he's worked his way up. We see Callum do so as he makes his way up to P3 ahead of Picnic. And we'll see it all come to everyone in about the next half a dozen laps or so. Picnic on those hard tyres. How much will these mediums wear? We shall see. Haasboys back up onto the podium positions where they were from quali. As Armadi retaking the position, saying thank you very much to Kat. Running P9. If you see a yellow flash, it's not piss, it's Katamies. He's gone round again. He's done it again. So as we're on lap 25 then. Coming to start lap 26, Portuguese ahead by 1.5 seconds on Theo. A bit of gap between his teammate and him in P3. Picnic P4, keeping Callum for company. Can he make the overtake? Yeah, he's not quite close enough. Thelemy on those softs, 3.67 seconds ahead, behind. That DRS for the two drivers ahead won't help his charge. Adamako P6, who's been dropped by Thelemy. And running his own race for now, the same as Katzlock. Hopefully his tyres will keep him in the race for a few high positions later in the race. Armadi P8, with him and Katz having a good battle, lap on lap. Dan Morris closing in, now 3 seconds on the charge on those softs. I'm sorry, I haven't got my soothers. Blackcurrant or lemon. Terry's P11 on those hards, 14 laps already, another 10 to go, but in a bit of no man's land. So P11, ready P12, drifting, Tokyo drifting, hits the wall. That was amazing that we managed to catch that, letting some drivers pass so he doesn't collide with them, and has lost end plate. So it's unfortunate for him. He was going well. He lost a couple of places. And just coming round turn 4, clipped his tyre on the curb. And tried to keep it going. But ended up losing traction as Yates retaking position now from Callum, back up to P3 for him. And track limits for Briddy. And Terry's in situ. And Briddy's lost it again, coming round turn 10. Keep it going. We don't want a safety car happening. He does, and now we'll probably see him go into the pits, as he's now been lapped by the aforementioned Pitnick and Callum. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him jump in the pits and try jump on some softs and get a fastest lap attempt. Get a new wing on. And he does, as suspected. Don't. And he does. Saw that coming. Penalties being given out like sweets in church. Up to the adults though. Wink, wink. And change your wing. As Callum and Picnic jostling for positions. And Callum ahead for now. Bellamy struggling to close in on these two. Theo still sticking with Portuguese. And Catanese potentially trying to go into the pits, has stopped on the exit and has been disqualified. And I'm surprised he lasted that long, to be fair. I give him credit for lasting that long, but not many drivers would. But it's an early bath for Catanese. Cats don't like water. You're going to have to hose in. So Theo doing so well on his debut. And at the moment, he's got a big gap between him and his teammate. He's on for the race win. And it'll be his own fault if he doesn't win this race. He's now within DRS of Portuguese. Callum's still ahead of Picnic as they're coming out turn 4. Bellamy, like I said, is not closing the gap at all, but it's maintaining one from Adamako, P6. There's got a big gap between him and Catslock now, and Bellamy gets himself a track limits warning, so that won't help his charge at all. And depending on penalty counts, could put him under threat from Adamako behind and give Adamako something to charge down. Catslock P7 has now got Amadi, 4 Company and Cats. Got Cats' hand in his pocket. Suzy Q. Catamese, yeah, I agree. It wasn't your finest hour, and I do hope better for you in the next race. But yeah, whoever it is, just hunt them down and just murder them, mate. Simples. Absolutely kill them. Dan Morris closing in slightly. It doesn't seem like these soft tyres are actually switching on. Now 2.9 seconds ahead. I don't think the DRS is helping them close in. So he's now over 3 seconds. So and Amadi, which you don't see often, getting himself a track limits as well. So that gives something for Dan Morris to close down to gain a position ahead of Amadi. We've got a yellow flag. Who was that? Was it Caps Lock? I'm not sure. Somebody out of turn 4. Sygate and Marty battling for P12. Sygate does have penalties, but he's on softer tyres. DRS is open. Can he make the overtake going down turn 4? Marty defends well, and Sygate has to follow him around for now. Great defence from Marty. Now Wykin, P14, going strong. Jumping in the pits, going to do a switch of tyres for the final few laps. And he gets an Italian hand gesture. Witnessed it again. Italian hand gesture for speed in the pit lane. As Amadi makes the move Big dive there from Catslock. Did he miss his braking point? And Cats follows through as well. Cats trying to defend from Armadillo as the inside line of turn 4, side by side, going round turns 4 and 5. Bit of wheel bumping, but Armadillo has the inside line. And I'll probably say it'd be nice Catslock as bit of a switch dive from Cats going on the inside of turn 6. And has the inside of turn 8 as well. Brilliant driving from these pair. And Cats ends up winning for now. Probably nice to see Catslock give the position back for that late lunge, causing Armadillo to lose a couple of tenths through a little bit of contact. But it would have mean that he would have lost position to Cats as well. We might see him give it back once Armadillo gets past the Cats if he can. As Cats gets past Catslock now. Cats will have the inside line of turn 2. And better traction out the curve of the Soul. He does. Who has DRS? It's Catslock and Armadillo. As we're going to go 3 wide going down to turn 4. Cats defends the inside line. Catslock has to go on the outside. A little bit of wheel banging. It's hard but fair, like I said earlier. And Catslock has to stop behind. Great battling from those pair. Picnic getting himself back up to P3. Ahead of Callum. 4 laps to go, and Armadillo getting another track limit warning. I don't know if it's his own accord or because of battling side by side from another. Only the steward's room will tell. He is, of course, our championship leader and does have a big lead, so he might not be too bothered. But now, like I said, we'll see. He is on older hards. And all the while, Dan Morris is closing in, now a second behind, and he's going to join this battle and make it a 4-way. There's 4 in the bed, and the little one said, roll over. I'm not rolling over. I'm getting my wings out. Elbows out. Elbow you in the eye. Cat's not close enough to Cats. Cats defends the middle. Great track positioning from him. Nowhere for anyone to go there. There's now a bit of a gap between Portuguese and Theo, but he still has that 10 seconds. So with 3 laps to go, I think don't take it too easy, but just make sure he doesn't do anything stupid. So yellow flag. I think that was Briddy. He's lost position to Metal Mike. He's gone off on turn 4 again, where he went off before and hit the wall. Has he done the same again? And he's retired on track. I do not hope a safety car comes out. I do not hope. It doesn't look like it. We do ask drivers to please retire in the pit lane, because there is a chance, but it is quite close to the end of the race. Let's hope one doesn't come out. And it doesn't. Where are we at for now? On lap 34, as Cats and Armadillo and Catslock all 3-way coming around to turn 4. Cats has to go real wide and probably concede the position to Catslock. He doesn't, unless he feels he was forced wide. Really hard battling from these 3. Dan Morris has dropped a little bit, probably because the DRS. He needs to get within it, and he needs to get in within the sector. Not quite close enough yet. He's got 2 laps to do it. Callum's still stuck behind Picnic. Are the medium tyres wearing a bit thin now? Is there a bit of strategy in play? Who's got the better ERS? Quantity left. As we got another yellow flag, I think that... Who was that? It was caps lock, and it was all going to end in tears at some point. They were racing quite hard. And Armadi's lost a couple of positions as well, so I'd assume it's between those two. So Cat sends out the winner here. Did he have anything to do with it? Sneaky Cat. Dan Morris also capitalises, now getting himself up to P8. And only real time will tell as we come on to the final lap of the race. Portuguese 3.5 seconds ahead. He does have that 10-second penalty. Callum right on the gearbox of Picnic will look to try and make the overtake going down to turn 4. Makes that one stick, and Picnic will need to stick with him through the whole of sector 2. He's not sticking with him. He's trying to get that position, but he's so slot behind now. I thought he was going to try and do him on the outside, and it's really risky to do it, especially on the last lap there. Save all your ERS for the final stint. Coming out of junction is where Portuguese is heading now. And congratulations to Portuguese. He's done a great race, and if only he'd just put his brakes on a little bit sooner, a few yards sooner than he did, he would have won this race. It comes home P1, but it would be taken to a debut win for Theo in the Haas. Congratulations to him. Callum takes P2, Picnic takes P3, which demotes Portuguese down to P4. Thelemy will cross the line, P5. Well, good driving from him. And the Alpine team, Adamako P6. Does have the penalty, but I think he'll be safe for his position for now. Cat's coming home P7. Dan Morris, well done to him. Steady race, P8. Amadi will come home P9. Depends on penalties. Capstock P10. Again, penalties depending on him as well. Well, no. The game's just fucked me off. It's given me the middle finger. And again, gives driver of the day to Callum. I'd probably give it... I'd probably have to give it to his teammate, to be honest. Debut win on the feature race. Getting himself on the podium as well. Congratulations to him. And this is our order. So, top step, Theo in the Haas. Haas getting some points on the board today. Callum getting P2. Picnic as well, getting himself P3. Well done to him. Portuguese getting demoted down to P4. Starting on pole for the feature race, but does get himself the fastest lap with a 1:09.2. Thelemy P5. Good race for him. Anamako P6. Starting from P12. Cat's following suit, getting himself P7. P8 for Dan Morris. Good points for the Mercedes too. Amadi P9 for the Aston Martin team. Some drivers getting some ground on him after today. But that's not bad for the league at all. Catstock P10. Terry's getting himself P11. Marty P12. Getting better. My apologies to him. Sygate 13. 14 for Metamite. Briddy 15. And Catamise. Both the bottom two. Either getting disqualified or DNFing. What a week that was. Plenty of action. I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I couldn't keep my lungs from blaring. And that's another special race done. And we are back to normality with short quali and 50% race next week. And next week we find ourselves at the race of roulette, Las Vegas. And I think they wanted to do love Las Vegas. I do. And you will see me there. My name is Alex. This is Lights Out League Racing. Thank you for joining us. Peace out.